Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kisha. I'm the author of the Glamorous French Housewife blog. You can find that link below in case you're interested. So today I am back with a Irish inspired dinner. I thought it would be fun to share this recipe with you for both the dinner and the Irish soda bread a few days before St. Patrick's Day, in case you want to find a way to celebrate the holiday with your family. Now, you don't just have to make this meal on St. Patrick's Day. Of course, you can make it any time of the year. I have a ton of crockpot recipes already uploaded on my channel, and you can click on the link that's going to pop up if you're interested in checking those out. It will open to another window that you can watch whenever this video is over. So what we're making today is a corned beef and potato crockpot dinner and some Irish soda bread. Now this couldn't be simpler. Again, this recipe is great for those busy nights when you want a good dinner but you don't want to put a lot of time in. It's also great for summer because you're not really heating up your kitchen except to make the Irish soda bread, and it's a wonderful menu. Now I am making this with a beer, a Guinness beer, is that how you say it? Guinness, I think. But you can always switch that out for beef stock, but the alcohol content cooks out, so it's safe to, feed your family, but you can always switch it out for beef stock. So if you want to see how to make this, just keep watching. I'll show you how to make the dinner and the bread both in this video. Just keep watching. So it couldn't be easier to make this Irish meal. So I'm going to be using my crock pot. I'm making the entire dinner besides the bread right here in this wonderful cooking machine. So I got just one corned beef brisket. Now, this was a little more pricey. It's $16.15, but it's a large beef brisket, and the only thing is that it's got some seasonings. That's it. And this will make 2 or 3 meals for us, so I didn't mind, spending a little bit more. I got some of these baby Dutch yellow potatoes, couple tablespoons of sugar, 1 Guinness beer. I think we probably could have used 2, so you might want to get 2. I'll probably have to make up the difference just with water. 1 large softball sized onion, 1 head of cabbage, salt and pepper, and a little bit of vinegar. So this couldn't be easier. All we're going to do is get the beer and the sugar and the vinegar in the crock pot. That's the first thing we're going to do. So in goes the beer. This is a dark, like ale, just like that. Now we're just going to use a couple tablespoons of vinegar. You can use cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, regular vinegar. I'm just using regular. It will cut through the meat. You won't taste it, just a couple tablespoons. And now we're going to add our beef brisket. That's a very large piece of meat right in. It also came with these seasonings, so I'm just going to put them in the beer, just like that. I'm going to add the sugar right in on the side so it gets in that water. And now I'm going to slice up my yellow onion. So for this recipe, I just simply sliced up the onions pretty thin. Those are going to go on the sides, down in that broth. Just put them right in. And then I'll take the back of my knife carefully and just kind of push them down just a little more. Make sure they're in that broth. And I also rinsed my potatoes. I'm going to put them around on the edges also. In you go. And we're not going to put the cabbage in till the last 2 hours. So that will come in just to finish cooking. But if you put it in early, it's just going to turn to mush. So we don't want that. I'm just kind of pushing the potatoes around, trying to get them kind of underneath that roast a little bit. You can put them in first, certainly, but there we go. I like them on the sides. Now I'm going to add a little bit more water just because I only bought 1 beer. I mean, I could put a different kind of beer in. I just don't want to really mess with the flavors. So you can see I just brought the water up. It's not super, super high. And I'm just going to salt and pepper the roast. I meant to say brisket, but it's a big piece of meat, so just be sure to salt and pepper it really well. And then all I'm going to do is put my lid on. I've got it on high for 6 hours, and in about 4.5 hours, I will put the cabbage in. In the meantime, I'm going to make some Irish soda bread that I'm going to show you on this video, and in just a bit, I will show you, how I put the cabbage in. I'm just going to cut it in quarters and just kind of stuff it in. It looks so pretty, and that green is amazing. And this is a super easy meal that hopefully you guys might want to make your family on St. Patrick's Day, which is this upcoming Monday. So this has been cooking for about 4 hours, and it really smells good. So I cut the cabbage up into quarters, and we're just going to kind of stuff it around on the edges. Super easy, just kind of stuff it in there. The meat kind of recedes back. It gets a little smaller while it cooks, so there should be plenty of room just to add the cabbage. Be careful not to burn yourself, though. So I just put the cabbage in around the meat, and I pushed it down in the broth as much as I can. Now it will break up as it cooks, and I'm just going to put the lid right back on it and allow it to cook for another 2 to 3 hours. Now we are having a late dinner tonight, so that works out really well. But I'm going to be making some Irish soda bread next. You can just keep watching this video. I'm going to show you exactly how to make it. It couldn't be simpler, and it doesn't require any rising time, so I love that. And it's going to accompany this dinner. Super easy to make, and I'll show you how to make that next. So it couldn't be easier to make the Irish soda bread. While our dinner cooks away in the crock pot, I'm going to get started and get it baking. There's only 4 ingredients in this recipe, which I will talk about in just a minute. But I have a round cake pan that I've greased and floured with some all-purpose flour. You could definitely use a cast iron skillet. Just be sure to grease it and, flour that too. And then you're going to need something to cover it up, and so it bakes with a lid. So I'm just using another round cake pan. And the 4 ingredients that you need is some all-purpose flour, buttermilk, sea salt, and baking soda. So I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour in this large pink spring mixing bowl. I also have 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I have 1 teaspoon of some kosher sea salt, and then I have my 1 1/4 cups of buttermilk measured out. So you could definitely make your own buttermilk, and I'll just pop in how to do that in case you don't have it in the kitchen. And we're going to gradually mix the buttermilk until it forms like a sticky ball. We'll roll it out and knead it. Put it in this round baking pan and bake it in a 450 degree oven for about 30 minutes. So keep in mind, with the Irish soda bread, there's only 4 ingredients, and it doesn't require any rising time. So you could definitely make this any night of the week if you wanted a fresh, warm loaf of bread on your table. It just doesn't have to be for St. Patrick's Day. So I have the 1 3/4, like I said, in the measuring cup, and I'm just using a wooden spoon. I'm going to kind of mix the salt and the baking soda right into the flour before I start to mix it. And we're just going to gradually add the buttermilk. I'm going to mix that up. Buttermilk helps give it a nice tangy taste. You could also use a pastry cutter if you wanted to. You really don't need one, though. A wooden spoon works fine. And I don't have any of my rings on because I'm going to be kneading it. So I'm just going to pour the rest in there. Mix it all up as best you can with the spoon first. And then we'll mix it even more when we break it out and knead it. I'm going to get my hands in this in just a minute. Remember, clean hands are one of the most important utensils in your kitchen. Don't be afraid to get in there with your hands and mix it up. Okay, so I'm going to move the stuff on the counter and make some room for kneading. So on my clean counter that I cleaned right before I started making this recipe, I'm just going to sprinkle out some of that all-purpose flour so it doesn't stick, or our dough doesn't stick. And then I'm going to get in that bowl with my hands and just kind of mix it up even more before I put it out on the counter. Super easy. And, you know, maybe it was just something I loved, but it always feels so good to get that dough out and work it on the, and knead it and work it on the counter. Now, you don't have to knead this super long, but you need to work that dough together. Press it down, pull it back, press it down, pull it back. That's what kneading is. And you'll be able to feel the dough sticky in some spots, but kneading it really helps it to be more tender. But if you over knead it, it will definitely be a tougher bread. So you gotta be careful not to knead it too much, but you still gotta do a little bit of work. And you're gonna want to shape this in a disc shape. So while you're kneading it, you can kind of shape it the way you want it. And kind of go around it. Get that disc shape. Press it out. You want it about the same size as the pan. And it will probably spring back just a little bit on you from the sides, but you pretty much want it around the same size of that round baking pan. So just keep pressing it out till you get it to the size you want. Tuck your edges under, kind of roll them under, and it will give you more of that round look. Press them under, just like that. Try to make it as even as you can. This is a delicious bread and so easy. Kids could even make this if you wanted to let them help on St. Patrick's Day dinner. My kids love just to eat the bread dough. I gotta always stop them from doing that. Okay. So because we floured our surface, it didn't stick. I'm gonna bring my pan over here and just trying to even it in there. Get it even and just kind of spread it around. Pressing it till you think it's as even as, you know, you can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you don't want a big hunk over here and it being thin on this side, or your bread would come out pretty weird and not cooked all the way. Okay, so the next thing I do is take a knife or a pair of scissors, and we're just going to make a big X. You're going to go down about 1/4 of an inch deep. It's going to make it really pretty when it bakes. Just cut that right into it. Make sure you're down, pretty far down, so it actually comes out. Otherwise, you won't see it. So now this is going to go into a 450-degree preheated oven. I'm going to put this other baking pan right on top, and it's going to bake with a lid on it like that for around 30 minutes. The last 10 minutes, we'll take the top off and let it brown, and my oven rack is in the middle. Okay, so it's baked with the lid on for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to bake it for about 10 more minutes, maybe 15, till it gets very brown and crusty, and then our Irish soda bread will be done. So the bread came straight out of the pan, super easy. It took about 10 minutes to get this beautiful golden brown color on top. I just have it on a wood cutting board, and I have some of my cute little shamrock napkins for St. Patrick's Day, of course. And I'm just going to cover it with a towel till we get dinner plated up. So dinner is done, and let me show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. You can see the cabbage is cooked down. The corned beef is nice and pink, but it's fully cooked. And I also sliced up the Irish soda bread. So I'm going to take the beef out of the crock pot and just let it rest for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to slice it up and show you how I served this wonderful Irish inspired dinner. So I took the beef brisket and just put it on a plate, and I'm just going to tint it until I'm ready to slice it up, which will be in just a minute or two. And you can see that the cabbage is cooked down. There's thinly sliced onions and little potatoes in here. But let me tell you, the smell and aroma of that beer, that Guinness beer, has invaded our home and made all of us, including the animals, hungry all day and evening. It is such a sweet and savory smell. It's just amazing. The cats have sat down on the floor at the bottom of the counter smelling this. I know the dog's been in here. Jackson's wondered what smelled so good. The first thing Scott said when he came in was, "Dinner smells really good," and it has just made the most amazing sauce. It tastes so, so good. I've already sampled it, and I sliced up the bread. So remember, you're going to use a serrated knife. It does take a little bit of elbow grease to slice it up. This is a dense bread, but again, there's no yeast in it, lightening it up or anything, but it is perfect to be served along with this, and it's perfect for St. Patrick's Day, because it's Irish soda bread. So I hope that you make this for your family. I think if you use the beer, you will not be disappointed. I'm going to get the beef brisket sliced up and get dinner on the plates. It was super easy to cut. Now it is like a little more pink and red in color. That's just the natural color, so don't be scared. It's cooked completely through. It's been cooking for about 7.5 hours. But it slices up super easily. I just used my serrated knife again just to make the job easy. Now it's time to get it on the plates. So you could definitely serve this in a bowl, let me tell you, because the beer broth is amazing. But I just put it on a small plate, spooned out some of the beer broth, potatoes, cabbage, and onion, and then took a couple pieces of that beef brisket and put it right over. And this is so tender. I'm serving it up with that crusty bread that you can just dip right in that beer broth. But again, a bowl would be even better, so you could get more broth to dip that yummy Irish soda bread in. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe, and if you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below. You can find this recipe in the down bar, and you can also find it on the corresponding blog post at kjaggers.com. Let me know if you make this for your family for St. Patrick's Day or any other day of the year. It's absolutely delicious, and I hope you make it for your family. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye-bye.